Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Fallout series. This is episode 3 of season 1 and it is called The Head. Last episode, all 3 of our primary characters met up in Philly. At the time I was like, you know what, that seems a bit convenient they've all met up like this, but then when I rewatched the episodes I picked up a few minor details I missed. I clocked that I'm assuming that scientist was an Enclave scientist who had fled with the dog, so an Enclave scientist would be a high priority target to the Brotherhood of Steel. It would make sense that that became a bounty. Cooper was also tracking that bounty, and Lucy was obviously heading through there to make her way to the raider camp where she believed her father to be. Now also in the episode we got the whole Michael Rappaport Brotherhood of Steel Yao Guai Cave Maximus thing. I was thinking about it and I still don't like that the first time we get to see a Brotherhood Knight in the field it's a fucking self-knocking out piece of shit waste man, right? But I understand why they did it, because if they'd have took Maximus out in the field with a really good soldier and a nice human being, when he had that moral conflict of stimpacking him or not, he would have essentially declared himself as a full-on Sith Lord by episode 2, so they made that Brotherhood Knight a bit of a douche to make his moral conflict seem less villainous, so I get why they did that. That being said, I would have loved to have seen a Brotherhood Knight in the field who was like a good Brotherhood of Steel Knight. And I did enjoy the backstory of the scientist and the dog, and it was a rough opening scene to be honest. Puppy's getting slung in an incinerator. I mean, Jesus Christ, Fallout, calm the fuck down. You're trying to make friends with people here, not alienate them. Episode 2. You're the new kid who joined school on Monday and has decided to take a shit on his desk in front of everyone on the Tuesday. But today is a new day, we are on Wednesday, so you know, just no more puppy killing, motherfucker. And when they finally met up in town, all hell broke loose. And it was a good fight. Cooper's 4-shot, like 50 cal Magnum thing, I don't even know what it is, but it creates giant holes in chests and sends people flying across the road. So yeah, it must be a pretty high caliber bullet he's firing out of it. It's an incredible gun, so we get to see him blast up a couple people. He even gets shot a bunch of times, doesn't even use a stim pack. I didn't know that was part of the ghoul lore, that they could just take a certain amount of gunfire without it affecting them. And because Maximus has taken Knight Titus's set of power armor, he jetpacks down, and now we have a little battle between Maximus and Cooper, which again is awesome, because Cooper is clearly outmatched just strength for strength. You know, Maximus punches him and sends him flying back and crashing into a set of stairs and stuff like that, but Cooper is of course wise, and Maximus in a set of power armor was of course inexperienced, so Maximus gets his ankle stuck in a stupid little piece of broken like floorboarding, and Cooper just walks up and slices one tube on the neck, which I'm assuming disables some sort of thing within the armor, causing the jetpack wrists, which again is a retcon because in the games it's an actual jetpack on the back, Mandalorian style. They've just straight up jacked the Iron Man wrist rocket swag for this show, to be honest. I don't know why they made that decision. I love the jetpack look of the Boba Fett Mandalorian kind of jetpack and shit, and when you see jets come out of the wrist like that, it just instantly reminds you of Iron Man, really, doesn't it? But yeah, Maximus goes flying through the air anyways and ends up in the middle of nowhere. I forgot to even mention, by the way, Cooper blasted that scientist's leg clean off, and it was a grisly special effect. And then the device she had to wedge onto his leg before attaching the foot piece just looked absolutely brutal, like it was just digging into your flesh to get a good holding. So Lucy and the scientist start their journey to go meet this raider boss, only for the scientist to announce he's just ingested a cyanide pill and it's on her to make the rest of the journey. Oh, and by the way, she needs his head. There's a ripper, saw my head off. So yeah, poor Lucy had to decapitate someone day 2 out of the vault, which, you know, I'm sure was quite an eye-opening experience to what is already quite a wide-eyed, beautiful face. She's gonna look like a fucking Disney character this episode after having to do that shit. But yeah, that is where we left off, so I cannot wait to get into this episode. So without further ado, this is episode 3, season 1 of Fallout, The Head. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it.
You stupid motherfucker, you know this is all your fault.
This guy deserved to die so much when you see how much of a fucking prick he was. What a horrible example of the Brotherhood of Steel, as if that guy even made it past initiation.
Will you still want the same things when you have become a different animal altogether.
It's a very good quote, that. I really liked that quote from the last episode, very true. Sooner or later, she's got to at least lose the vault suit, surely. I mean, if she doesn't want to have a giant arrow above her head for like 5 seasons of this show, she should just put on something a little more modest. Okay, we're getting a bit more a Cooper. Is this after the bombs had dropped?
Means you was ugly, strong, and had dignity. I'll give you 2 out of 3 on that front.
2 out of 3 is not bad. This looks like a movie set.
Do I really have to kill him?
Cuts?
I was gonna say, I thought the background looked a bit projectory, but I didn't want to criticise it in case it was just, you know, the Fallout show's budget running out by episode 3.
They want to see that even a good man as yourself can be driven
Yeah, I understand that.
Right, I'm kinda getting the gist maybe of what was going on completely with him before the war. So he was an actor in some sort of cowboy TV show. Cowboy TV show maybe dried up, or maybe just because of the divorce his fucking life fell apart or something. So he was reduced to being the famous guy now doing rodeos and shit. It's the equivalent nowadays of people who appear on, you know, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, or Dancing with the Stars, and then segue that shit into appearing at nightclubs for a couple £1,000 just to keep bleeding a little bit of money out of the little bit of name they had.
People like to write it off as some old lady flavor, but it's subtle. Tastes like someone touching you for the first time.
It fucking doesn't. It is an old lady flavour. Stop trying to make lavender sexy.
That's the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth.
I respect the fact he didn't bullshit her there. People have to know the truth about fucking lavender flavoured food.
They even made it in your color.
Let's see if it fits.
What is this, I wonder? Obligatory head pun. What is that one again? I mean, I'm sure I've used it in the game, but I'm just not exactly sure which drug that was. It didn't look like a jet. Again, it will be so hilarious if she gets to this Raider camp and they just extract this chip out of the side of the guy's neck.
Is waiting for you.
Shit, some of these shots are so impressive. Really good background CGI. Oh, yum yum deviled eggs. I'm gonna do this anytime I see any of the brands I recognise. I apologise in advance, go fuck yourselves. Give me a yum yum deviled egg, I will gobble it up. Oh, she's found the device.
Just in case.
Oh, can the Pip-Boy analyse it in some way?
We're proven true. Then what?
Wow, that is a cool device that Pip-Boys in the games never had. That's a really smart thing to have on it though. I wish they had those in the game.
Boy, that night really was something, huh? I wonder who he was.
Is she still thinking about fucking that Raider? He must have been a good lay if she can bypass the fact, you know, his gang kidnapped her father just to think about that dick for a minute. I wonder how this is gonna go. You know, part of me thinks they're just gonna run him through the ringer for all this, but part of me thinks that he's gonna bullshit them to the point he's gonna come back a hero.
This is Night Titus. Over.
I don't know why he's impersonating him, but okay.
My squire, he fell in battle.
He died with honor. And glory.
So he's faking his own death. Why would he be doing this? This is really confusing strategically to me.
I'll be right back.
He probably just doesn't ever want to have to give the power armor back to anyone. Who can blame him? Basically makes you Superman. Is this him walked back into Philly? I suppose the only person that saw him without the helmet on was Lucy, so he technically could do this.
Did you do it for 4?
$5 caps was an incredibly reasonable price, to be fair. No way. Fuck off, he's gonna just get his... Oh my god. Well, fair play, he is dedicated.
Step away from the armor.
Really hard to find you intimidating with a couple teeth out, mate. I do not see Maximus winning that fight if he can't get to the armor. He's gonna lose this fight. He needs something else to happen here. Back up in some way. Jesus Christ. That's so unnecessary. These guys don't give a fuck about Brotherhood of Steel retaliation. Every now and again while playing the Fallout games, you come across like a raider or a gunner who has managed to get themselves a set of power armor. I always wondered how they did that. This explains it perfectly. They just beat the shit out of one of the Brotherhood when they're out of their armor and jacket. How's he gonna deal with them all though? It just seems like he has no physical prowess, unless he can think of a little rat maneuver, because you know Maximus has got that in his locker. Well, that's one way to even the playing field. You better watch out though, if they all pull out weapons, you are fucked. Oh, we're going old school with this fight, let's go.
Me about you, darling. And it hurts me.
Using the toilet seat as a little neck hook was the first thing I thought when I saw it. They better watch out, if that shit closes in on them, they're in deep shit. Oh my god. Holy shit. That was an incredible special effect. Oh my god. Like a fucking melon. I don't know if I've said this yet, but I've been talking with my friends about this throughout the week, and I feel like this show, in some ways, is telling Bethesda the things they've been doing wrong as a company lately. They've been sterilising everything so it's dehumanised to a point. And I feel like Game of Thrones taught the fantasy genre that you have to have that human adult element to make everything feel fully realised and for people's desires and goals to be also realistic, such as sexual desires, drug addictions and all of that. And while Fallout does have a little bit, I feel like it could do with just going all in the adult factor like Rockstar do with GTA, and just embrace the fact that an apocalyptic wasteland would be a fucking 18 plus experience everywhere you went in one way or the other. Not that that needs to happen with art to make it better, but with the tone of Fallout and the setting it is in, I feel like it would improve it by not sterilising it.
I'm about to protect and serve you, whoever you deem fit.
Wow, now he's basically got a little slave companion.
Clean this.
Oh god.
Of course. Right, Titus.
I mean, you didn't have to pick up the most douchebaggy move off the most douchebaggy member of the Brotherhood of all time, but I appreciate the callback joke, of course.
The Elder Cleric says, whoever gets the target
We'll control the wasteland.
What? No fucking way. How can what's in that scientist's head be that important? Control the entire wasteland. And it's a classic trope of things like this when people are in masks. They did it in the Alien vs Predator movie as well, and I'm sure there's other times where it's been done what we could reference. But that first initial attack on the Brotherhood of Steel member by the Yaogwai left a visible scratch scar across the front of his armour, which makes Maximus now incredibly easy to identify while wearing the armour. So if we see other Brotherhood of Steel members, we won't assume it's Maximus, because we'll know he's in the one with the scratch marks. Oh my god, see, just looking at that setting, I would fucking love them to set one of the Fallout video games in a place that looked like this. What are you trying to make friends with, Lucy? Be careful, I can't tell what it is yet.
You like grass?
You better be careful if it's a ragstag, because some of these things are feral. Oh no. And also it's prey to bigger things, which is an even worse possibility. Oh my god, what the fuck could this be? Could it be a gulper? Would they have gulpers here? It looked kind of like the New Vegas gecko, but they don't hang about in water. Thank God she put that tracker on it, that would have been the head gone. Oh no. Oh yes. The one person who I know will not blow her head off, sweet.
Hello again.
How can you shoot that in the face?
I lost it. I lost it.
Actually, yeah, this is perfect. Cooper and Lucy teaming up to fight the sea monster. Let's fucking go.
Gulper got it, huh?
Gulper. Okay, yeah, it was a gulper.
I'm being reassigned. The whole opening the vault door for Lucy thing didn't sit too well with the council, so
I can imagine they didn't appreciate you doing that.
I'm just not really sure who I even am anymore.
I kind of feel bad for these guys, you know, because yes, they're a vault that's never opened their doors, but they were attacked by raiders and their overseer was kidnapped, and his daughter wanted to go herself to find him. And they're gonna punish these guys just for opening the door for her for that? Surely they would think in their heads, yeah, this is a singular exception where that is completely understandable. Hopefully she comes back with our fucking president, you know what I mean?
Those raiders could only have gotten into Vault 32 because some bonehead opened the door to the surface.
I've wanted to break Ross from Frenzy's neck for years, and here he is.
I've telegrammed with the overseer at Vault 31.
Oh, they were part of a trifecta. We haven't even seen Vault 31 yet.
Punish me with a demotion, I guess.
Every job you've been assigned to, your performance review has been lax enthusiasm.
Are they about to point out that he can't be demoted any further? Are they actually going to outcast him from the vault?
How do you demote someone who equally dislikes every job he's ever worked?
It's a good question.
Down here for breaking the rules. Is that just for vault dwellers or for people who come down here and murder vault dwellers?
That is also a good question, man. Them raiders came down and broke their rules first.
Rise and shine, everyone. Your catered snackables have arrived.
Are these prisoners within the vault? I get it, these are the captured raiders. I was gonna say, surely vault dwellers can't go this insane, but yeah, they'll be the raiders that were alive they captured. And I guess that's a bad demotion. I mean, all you need to do is slide food through a slot at the end of the day, but having to see the dudes that kidnapped your dad would be a bit of a downer.
On my honor, sir, I will find you. Fuck!
Oh shit. That looked incredibly painful. Did a stuntman do that shit for real and they just put a crash mat in the sand? Because that looked very realistic.
Whatever you want. You're the... Sir.
He's such a power tripper, Maximus. Anytime anybody, like, strokes his ego or plays into the power he feels in that armor, we get a close-up shot of him within the suit with a big grin on his face. Fucking loves it.
Yeah, guy from the Enclave. Got everybody's...
The size of the bags the fucking squires have to carry are ridiculous.
Ghoul intervened.
A ghoul? Huh. Those things are scary as shit. Bet you just killed it on sight, no questions asked.
No, actually, he got the shit kicked out of him.
This way! Where are your weights?
He looks like the golf caddy of a giant.
Think this was him?
Hard to tell.
You know what? Because of the way they filmed that, when we saw Cooper looking at it in the intro, I thought he'd just come across a random decapitated body. Of course I should have put two and two together. I can be a dumbass from time to time, but yeah. Makes sense it was the scientist we were seeing Cooper catching up with on the trail of the target.
Smart. Who do you think did this, the girl or the ghoul?
The ghoul. Definitely.
Well, you are fucking wrong. Lucy is up for trying new things. Seriously, this setting. The post-colour correction to make that water look so blue, the greenery around it looks so green, with the broken down buildings in the middle, it's almost painting-esque. Jesus Christ, Cooper is brutal. Straight away with the waterboarding, yeah? So last episode we got puppy incineration, this episode we've got female waterboarding. And the dog's tail's wagging. It's loving watching a drowning lady.
I used to do these things called studies.
As if a study is a fanciful concept from a bygone era. And also, if the gulper's in this water, he's basically using her as bait, head first.
Time marked on, I personally noticed a decided uptick.
Wow, what the fuck are those things? It's like sort of two-headed evolved leeches, kinda?
You asked me them studies, I was right.
Vault suit's got a noticeable tear in the left arm. We're gonna note the vault suit deterioration because as she gets more wastelandy, the vault suit will be a representation of how wastelandy she's getting, do you know what I mean? Yeah, he is using her as bait. He's not genuinely trying to torture her, he's trying to lure the gulper. I don't know what his plan is, but it seems batshit insane when he's tying a Rambo knife to a piece of rope. It is like a giant fishing rod, this contraption, when you think about it. Shit. That's actually really good CGI as well. I'm proud that the CGI doesn't look shitty. Shit. It kind of makes it even more terrifying that it's not got sharp teeth but just fleshy, grippy things that will just slowly chomp you into its mouth so you'll be alive when you're in its stomach. Oh, we got boot deterioration. Noted. Quentin Tarantino filmed that shot. I hope they just use the dog like the fucking baby Yoda of this show, and whenever everything looks perilous and we need a Deus Ex Machina to save the day, this dog just shows the fuck up and does some amazing shit. And every time, I will never think it's bad writing, I will think it is amazing writing. If anything, this dog should be centre front of the Fallout poster when it's promoted on Amazon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have just let you use me as bait in a poison river!
She raises a noticeably fair counter-argument.
Wasteland's got its own golden rule.
Oh, what's that?
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
Literally the golden rule of Fallout. Never a truer word spoken.
What are you doing?
Just refilling your water bag so you can stay hydrated.
That's awesome though, the armor comes with everything like that. There was even a variation of it in Fallout 3 you could get called Medic Power Armor, which had onboard stim packs, and when you dropped below a certain health level it auto-injected you with them. That was a cool power armor variant.
I was a shitter, so they'd feed us, and then I'd feed our shit to the flies.
A shitter. Only this guy and certain German porn stars have ever been bestowed with such a job title.
To be honest, me and the other guys used to be pretty hard on him. I'd like regularly beat the shit out of him. That's interesting, so he's getting a little bit of an opinion about himself from someone else who doesn't know he's him. I just wish he lived long enough to find someone else to beat up, you know? Only seems fair. What a strange life cycle. Like a caterpillar in a cocoon, waiting to punch its way into butterflydom.
Let's go. We're losing daylight.
Yeah.
Come on, Caddy, don't forget the 9-iron.
Here we are with 16 highly violent individuals incarcerated in our temporarily repurposed reading room.
Yeah, I wouldn't brag about that. Those raiders should have been executed on sight. You have no idea the laws they live by and how stupidly passive you're being towards absolutely psychopathic serial killers. There is no rehabilitating raiders.
That is a decision that we need to make as a collective.
In a manner befitting our shared values.
I can completely see why Vault Dwellers are looked down upon. Now that I watch them from an outside perspective, they're such a bunch of fucking sheltered pricks, but when you're playing the game, you're always in the role of one, aside from Fallout New Vegas, so you sort of identify as being one, thus don't realise how much of a privileged prick you are when playing the games, but you literally come from the most privileged places left in the entire wasteland.
I can teach the Raiders Shakespeare. And when they're ready, Marlowe.
Jesus Christ. I'm actually hoping that this works. I would love to see the Raider gang put on a reenactment of Hamlet with the real skull of Lucy's father.
I don't know. I don't think it's our job to help these people. They're murderers.
They didn't know any better.
This is the only guy with any common sense in the entire vault. He is 100% accurate. If they give them any chance to escape, grab weapons, or fuck them up again, they will.
We can do what they would have done to us.
Wow.
Jeez Louise, Norm.
Again, the smartest dude in the room. And I kinda liked that eye patch lady liked him for saying that. Hopefully she's not a raider in disguise or something.
I'm sorry. You're right. It was not my intention to question your leadership, Overseer.
Thank you.
Quite crazy though, because I already see, again, I can picture an entire arc in my head just from this scene of him and Eye Patch Lady teaming up to eliminate the current council, taking over this vault and becoming far more extremist, only for Lucy to return to it to realise they've become way more brutal as a vault.
The water chip is destroyed. The vault only has enough water to keep our population alive for 2 months.
Shit! That is a big deal. They can't just brush that off. That means they all have to 100% leave within 2 months. Either that or send out people to recover a new water chip. Obviously, you would think the quick fix would be to go into Vault 32 and see if their water chip was still functional, or see if Vault 31 had a spare water chip. Other than that, they'll have to go out of the vault to get one.
If your father were here, he'd do the right thing.
And yeah, just as I thought, she's gonna side with him and she's gonna help influence him in his decision, but if he went in that room and executed all the raiders, I seriously wouldn't blame him. They're fucking assholes. Kill them. Yeah, I think this is gonna need more than a pistol, Maximus. I don't even know if it will be able to digest Maximus, even if it did eat him in power armor. Much respect to that squire as well, putting his life on the line for the night. I mean, he's being eaten alive because of it, but he was a brave man. May he digest proudly. I hope he gets to beat the shit out of new initiates for an eternity in the afterlife. Oh, they're like fingers. That's fucking gross. Oh my god. That is fucking disgusting. Did he literally just pull his insides outward through the strength of the power armor? Oh man. That is fucking gross. But much respect, he saved the squire. Shows Maximus still has a bit of heart. Oh fuck, it's Lucy's boots, so he's going to assume that she's been eaten by the gulper. And the head. Oh shit. But the fact that the dog's already there, Cooper must be here then.
The head?
The head! It's the head! Yes!
Don't high five him, you'll snap his arm in half. Would have been a hilarious ending to the scene, but you know. Again, this reminds me so much of New Vegas. I forget the name of it, it's something Cove or something like that, where all the Legionnaires hang out that are part of Kaisar's Legion. I'm not saying it's the same place, but just the way the huts are even aligned, it looks incredibly similar. How in the fuck did the dog get so far away from Lucy and Cooper? I thought it was kind of ghosting Cooper at this point.
Please.
Cooper, you are being a bit of a dick. I know you've been through some rough shit. I understand. They're demonstrating how fucking rough what you've been through is. From being a loving family man, doing what he has to do for his children, to being some ruthless dude who waterboards women and not gives them any water. I get it. That being said, fucking give her some water, man. Whenever you hear that noise, it's not good, because even if it's not enough radiation to damage her, it might signify that feral ghouls are nearby or some other irradiated creature.
Water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink.
Ah, irradiated water. There's been better ways displayed to make friends in the past, but let him cook.
We'll make a film about a man that's sad and...
So he played a Vault Dweller in a TV show. No wonder he fucking hates Vault Dwellers.
On behalf of the whole Vault-Tec family, we wanted to say how delighted we are that Barb could use her connections to get to you.
He was part of the Vault-Tec advertising campaign. Interesting. I bet you that's what ruined his reputation for being a TV cowboy star, you know, because Vault-Tec as a company is so shady it probably dropped his stock just being associated with them.
This thing really block radiation?
Absolutely.
Incredible, unconvincing line delivery there. I wonder if that's what the original, you know, cartoon artwork was based on, Cooper's poses. That would be an interesting way to tie him into the lore. Okay, and that was episode 3 of season 1 of Fallout, The Head, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, The Head, what did I think of that? You know, I still really love episode 1 because it was a collage of so many bits from the games that I loved so much, being shown a bit of pre-war and when the bomb dropped, and then going straight into that claustrophobic, crowded environment of the vault, and then contrasting that with a wide open space that's essentially barren. It's such an interesting contrast, and I feel like episode 1 did such a good job setting up our 3 story arcs while showing those bits in the vault and pre-war that I was hoping for, and also basically mixed that with the Red Wedding with the Raiders and the vault story. So episode 1 was incredible, but this might be my new favourite. I just loved little elements to it. It's things in this episode which remind me that the writer of this show is good and not just going by the book. Tiny things every now and again pull me out and go, oh yeah, this isn't the video game. He's doing something unique which is entirely alien to the video games I've never seen before. Like little moments, I mean, when I say that. For example, when Maximus got 2 of his teeth removed and got 1 cap each for them, clearly, just to be able to pay for that thing to get fixed, and then the extra cap for speed. That is just something that would never happen in the video games, although thinking about it, that would have been a hilarious quest, like go to the dentist and get 2 teeth out to make 2 caps, and then your health bar got reduced a bit, but you could afford something you needed. That would have been an interesting little silly quest. I mean, it wouldn't have been challenging or meant much, but it's just the unique variation of it that keeps these things interesting, and yeah, little moments like that is what's really pulling me into the show. Things that are fresh to me, even as a fan of the video games. I'm also loving this new dynamic they're setting up with Maximus, that now he's basically in hiding in the power armor. He is masquerading as the Dead Knight Titus, thus has had a new squire sent out to do whatever he wants, and that is of course fueling his power trip and ego even further. But also, you know, it's showing a little bit of human side to him, because when they killed the Gulper, he did make the decision to try and save his life, and I feel like he was doing that not to kill the Gulper, but to try and save the squire. As a byproduct, yes, they got hold of the head, but I do think that in that moment Maximus was trying to save the squire because he actually liked him. And Cooper and Lucy's story arc, as I mentioned through the episode, it was just demonstrating how ruthless Cooper had truly become. You know, we saw him shank the dog episode 2, and then this episode he's just waterboarding Lucy and drinking all the water in front of her, treating her like absolute shit. I mean, I do not know what this guy's beef is with humanity, but yeah, he's certainly taken out on Lucy just now. I feel bad for her, man. But at the same time, the way all this shit is happening to her has to happen this way, because her story arc is going to be about her being incredibly naive and believing she can come out and make a change, and quickly realizing that is not going to be the case and having to adapt to her environment to survive. So it makes sense that she's being introduced to these brutalities, but through a character we know is essentially a friendly. You know, this guy is doing things to her which are non-fatal but still ruthless, giving her a taste of what the world is like without actually, you know, permanently fucking wounding or killing her. And the special effects on the Gulper were great as well. You know, part of me wishes they really tried their hardest to do as many of these creatures with actual puppetry and animatronics as possible. Something like a Gulper seems like it would actually be feasible to do with puppetry and animatronics as well. I'm apprehensive when super mutants come into the show for that reason, because I think if we look at Game of Thrones as an example, which is chocked full of really bad CGI, but one choice they made which I felt was a good one was when they introduced the giants later on, they didn't just have a big CGI giant. What they did was they clearly dressed up a regular dude in the giant makeup and shit, and then literally digitally enlarged his footage on the screen so he appeared as to be a giant, and then subtly merged like his footwork and shit like that with a little bit of CGI, probably, you know, snow and shit as he moved and things. And when the super mutants show up, I really don't want them to be CGI. I want them to hire basketballers, put them in animatronic heads and, you know, full bodysuits and shit, and I just got a feeling that the way shit's made nowadays, that's not what they're going to do with the super mutants. They didn't do it with the Radroach, they didn't do it with the Gulper, they didn't do it with the Yao Guai, and it just seems like like they're writing anything off just now as, you know, non-human. They're probably sending to the digital art department, and I feel like that's a tragedy because it would be such a great job for the world-class effects department to create some unbelievable on-screen effects for some of the creatures throughout this show. I'm even worried when we see feral ghouls. I hope they do them like Cooper, where it's just humans who have had certain elements of their faces green screened to be decayed and shit like that. But again, feral ghouls is another thing they could just choose to hand over to the digital effects department. I'm just such a fan of practical effects, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like there's a timelessness to them, and I feel like more studios should take the chance to go back to practical effects. Anyway, there's my diatribe over, and I don't know why I decided to go on such a negative rant towards digital effects when the ones shown in this show have been great so far. It's just more a rant on the way that studios are so quick to jump to that as the option nowadays. I absolutely loved this episode, and the way the story's progressing is brilliant, and I literally cannot wait to see what happens next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share these videos around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.